everybody, and welcome to this episode of The Faux Show. Today is Sunday, June 8th. My name is Angela.
And my name is Chris.
And as most of you know, The Faux Show is not a real show. It is a social experience because I don't look at you. I look at the chat room which I have here on my iPad.
Oh, the chat room, I've got that full screen. Boom! On my screen.
Yeah,
it's right there. There it is. And it's over there.
It's over there on monitor.
Doesn't matter, Angela. It's actually built into the best lower third on the internet over at the jblive.tv live stream.
Seriously.
We have assembled the smartest, most intelligent, most good-looking people on the internet, and they have joined us in our own lower third. It's the power of the internet, you guys.
Seriously, look at them. Look at all
them
those
go.
people saying.
They're rocking it today with us. That's
Yeah.
cool. And we're just doing this a little bit after the Linux Action Show on a Sunday. And today we're talking about solar freaking roadways.
Yep.
You've probably seen this because the video's got like, what, a jillion views?
Yeah, it went viral. And what's crazy is I don't consider it going viral until I saw it.
I'm like the benchmark, you guys.
So at day 23 of their Indiegogo is when I saw it for the first time.
That sounds like you're 23 days into something that was already popular, is what it sounds like to me. It sounds like you were you're on the ass end of that.
You know what? So then it was just under $500,000 funded.
Oh, okay. All right. You're a little hipster now. Your
Right?
hipster cred's coming back.
And in 2 days since after I saw it
Right.
and shared it,
You put it on the web. Put it on the, yeah.
it exploded.
$1.99 million.
Well, so it actually ended 20 days ago or something. But they extended it because they're like, hey, we can get more money.
Because they got $1.9 million.
Well, at the time, they had just met their $1 million mark.
Fiscal.
Yeah. So anyway, it's still going on for another 12 days. So you can take a look and see if you want to sponsor or contribute to this. But it is an epic idea. And
The idea itself is quite epic.
yeah, so the idea is an idea that I've had in the past.
Me too.
And
Actually, I think that's why it's actually done so well, because a lot of people have been like, man, there's a lot of roads.
No. Well, yeah, but yeah, exactly. I've always thought the roads, they're black and they absorb the heat and, potentially contributing to global warming a little bit, and they're just kind of useless, and it would be really cool if they were multifunctional. Well, that's what they did. It's a couple that one's an engineer and one's something else, I forget, but
A wizard.
they decided to make these hexagonal solar panels that
Right.
have a textured tempered type glass on top of it that holds a lot of weight and can stop a car that's going 80 miles per hour in the time that is meant to stop.
You mean traction-wise?
Yes. And
How can that be, though, when they're wet?
well, they messed around with the texture and stuff. But anyway,
The only reason why I'm skeptical is because the nature of cement is like it's this uneven, rocky, porous thing that the rubber naturally sort of grips into.
right.
Whereas with glass, I mean, you have a smoothing process, you have a wearing down process, and when you add ice or water, you get something that is much slicker than concrete. I mean, it doesn't matter how what the surface of the glass is. I don't know.
Well, in their frequently asked questions, which I strongly suggest you take a read through before you, well, not before you contribute, but it basically it's a glass composite. It's some other things in the glass.
Okay, so it's not just regular glass.
Yeah, but because
That
the
makes sense.
primary ingredient is glass, they call it glass.
Do
It's
you
how
want
they
to play a little
explain
bit
it.
of the video? Because I mean, it's
yeah,
the video
sure.
that I think that got them this far.
So
and they didn't actually make this. This video, this video that's got them all the attention.
right. So today's teaser was faux freaking show. With a road.
Freaking show because this video is...
Because of this video, yeah, which was submitted by Scott Broussard, who made it after he saw the Indiegogo video.
Okay.
And it is really cool. So
Solar freaking roadways.
What are they?
They're solar freaking roadways. What do they want from me? Well, they're solar freaking roadways. Okay, so actually this time, what is it? It's technology that replaces all roadways, parking lots, sidewalks, driveways, tarmacs, bike paths, and outdoor recreation surfaces with solar panels. And not just lifeless, boring solar panels, smart, microprocessing, interlocking, hexagonal solar units. No more useless asphalt and concrete just sitting there baking in the sun, needing to be repaved and filling with potholes that ruin your axle alignment on your sweet ride, bro. These are intelligent solar panels, replaced a panel at a time if damaged or malfunctioning. They're covered with a new tempered glass material that has been designed and tested to meet meet all impact, load, and traction requirements. Oh, and did I mention that they're also solar panels? They generate electricity, they generate capital, they pay for themselves, and they keep paying more because we're not gonna run out of sun for like 15 billion years. That lowers the cost of energy, unlike those bills in the mail that keep going up. And it's clean energy. Everyone can theoretically drive an electric car with no pollution and a minimal carbon footprint.
So it's about a 7-minute video, and it's a pretty good video. Like, it grabbed my attention, that's for sure. And I gotta say, when I watch this, it almost seems like this utopian idea of let's replace all of the roads, and we can afford it because it'll generate its own power, and it won't have problems. It won't get damaged.
Yeah. So Rotten Corpse is in the chat room and not holding back on his disbelief of this product. And he says, Angela, please don't tell me you buy into this garbage. Well, no, I don't buy into it, but I think we're on the right track. And there are some things. There's a lot of skeptics out there, and if you check the show notes, I have linked several different articles that bring up very valid points, and a podcaster who's done a video of debunking some of the main things.
A good video, too. It's a little long. I mean...
But, so one of the things that it mentions is, no more useless asphalt. Well, asphalt actually is a lot of recycled material, which is one of that guy's...
because in the video they say it uses recycled materials,
right.
unlike roads, but actually,
and the one thing that I thought of that I haven't really seen other people talk about is, would our existing roads need to be pulled up, because that's a huge cost,
right?
And I did read in their frequently asked questions that no, they're going to use as much existing roadways as possible.
They build on top of it.
Yes, which makes me wonder, then why? Yeah. So one of the probably best arguments for that's against the solar freaking roadways is that the glass, well, first of all, it has to be clear. It has to be see-through so that the solar panels can...
No snow.
Well, that's
no dirt on the road.
That's different. But dirt and tire marks and...
Or what about cars? Cars would be blocking the sun.
Well, if they were parked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if there's a lot of cars on the road.
All the solar panels are connected together supposedly wirelessly. That's what they said. And they talk to each other and they share power. So if a car is over a couple cells, the ones around it can compensate.
It's a smart grid.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. They made up some terminology in their frequently asked questions. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. That's a thing. But anyway, so yeah. And supposedly it is strong enough. Like they put in actual like pounds that it can hold. And
I mean, you think about like car accidents though, and you think about like trucks that have stuff flying off the back of them and accelerating at 70 miles per hour and then smashing into the ground.
Right. Well, it actually brings up, Google has their smart car coming out, self-driving car. Yeah. And you wonder if those could be used in coordination.
Well, that would be, yeah. I mean, so the idea here that you could take existing surfaces that we just have exposed and essentially absorbing heat right now and not do anything with it, that idea I like sidewalks. I mean, like, what if you're a campus like Microsoft that we have here in the Pacific Northwest, and Microsoft has a huge campus with tons of sidewalks and walkways and pathways. What if they solar freaking roadwayed the walkways there?
Yep.
Right? And like, so Microsoft could generate some of their buildings' power from their sidewalks. Or, I mean, I'm just going to put this out there. Why not the roofs? Why not the rooftops?
Right.
Why not make solar freaking rooftops?
I know. And what's interesting is, they're claiming that these will absorb more effectively than like solar farms. But I don't think they will, because they're not like tilted, which is best for absorbing sunlight, and also they're just going to have so much crap on them all the time.
Well, Andrews, let me tell you a little something I learned from a man named Neil deGrasse Tyson from a little show called Cosmos. But first, I want to thank our sponsor this week, and that is Ting.com. Go over to fo.ting.com. Why would you go to fo.ting.com? Why? Because you'll save $25 off your first device, and if you've got a device and you're going to bring it, give you $25 of Ting credit. And dude, if you're like me, that's going to pay for like more than your first month of Ting. It's nuts. And the reason is no contract, and it's pay for what you use. It's a flat $6 per line. Okay, so get this. Get your head around this. Get right for a second. Focus. $6 a month. Then your usage. And then whatever the man's got to put on top of that. So if the man's got to put some taxes on there, I mean, it's the government. What are you going to do? But it's flat $6, and then your usage. That's crazy, you guys. And that totally flips the whole mobile industry on its head. They're trying to figure out what to do. And the great thing is when you buy a Ting phone, you own that phone. It's not in part of a 2-year contract. You're not amortizing that cost over 2 years. You own that sucker outright, just like you would a PC. And why wouldn't you? These things are smartphones. These things are computers. Fo.ting.com. And you gotta really respect the way that Ting does their pricing. So as now somebody who's been for a Ting customer for how long has it been? It's been well over a year. It's like
been a year
and a half. No, because it was like the beginning of 2013, and this is 2014 and June. So it's been like a year and a half, right? That's time math. And I got to tell you, sticking around for a long time, I really appreciate the fact that some months I'm heavy. You know about being like heavy flow, Ange? I'm heavy on my minute flow, heavy on my megabyte flow. You know what I'm talking about, right, Ange? And then some months I'm not that heavy. And then that's where Ting really is a great service because I'm getting I only pay for what I use, and to me, that's where the value is at. Fo.ting.com. Check out their control panel. Check out their devices, and check out the Ting blog. There's lots of great finance tips on there, too. And while you're over there, the savings calculator. Fo.ting.com. And a big thank you to Ting for sponsoring the Fo Show.
Woo!
So, Neil deGrasse,
Go ahead.
Mr. Tyson taught me in Cosmos 2 weeks ago that we are having a bit of a global warming, as he calls it. This is new to me, greenhouse gases. But what he specifically said is the sun is like this great source of energy. And he kind of goes into how the different areas of the Earth get warmed up in like the summertime versus the wintertime. And we've been talking about like walkways and stuff like that, but they were showing like there are places in the world where you could put solar panels and they would get enough sun year round that they would generate enough power that if you combine that with like some offshore wind, we're done. We're set. And so imagine like taking that to like a small business standpoint, like Jupiter Broadcasting. If we had solar freaking rooftops and we could generate from the sun all the power we needed to run this studio.
Right.
I mean, for us as a business,
Yeah.
that seems like a worthwhile investment to me if the cost of that roofing material wasn't like super prohibitive.
Right. So one of the things that they suggest in the video is that if it snows, these roadways will heat themselves.
Right.
And one of the reasons, or one of the naysayer guys, one of the reasons that he gave that can't be is because the reason why we have snowplows is to push the snow out of the way. Otherwise, we'd have snow melters. We'd have trucks that would just melt the snow instead of pushing it off to the side. It requires too much energy to melt snow. And so there's a couple things. If it's snowing, the sun's not out.
Right.
If
So
it's
where are you going
snowing,
to get
there's snow on the panels.
Right.
So where's it going to get the energy?
Well, okay. So the idea was that these panels would have heaters built into them, and the technology would be such that as it started to get cold out at a certain temperature, they would turn on. So they could be proactively warming up. So it's not like you don't just turn them on once there's a ton of snow. You
Right.
turn them on as it starts to snow, so that way the snow never has a chance to build up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I also now these particular solar panels are pretty low efficiency. Like it's like I've worked at a company where they were aiming for like 80% efficiency, which is unheard of, and these are like 20% efficiency
I haven't
because
heard
of the type of glass less light gets through.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess what my point is like
Well,
even
and
when
then
the sun's
there's transfer loss too.
Right.
Moving that
right,
energy
but
around.
even when the sun is not out, there's still light photons.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
still have light.
I know. That's why you still get a sunburn when it's cloudy.
Right, so you can still generate power even if it's not a sunny day.
But in a snowstorm,
well,
because
yeah,
then
it's-
you've got like clouds and
yeah,
and
no, it's a
snow
lot.
and-
Yeah.
But let's see, what was the other point?
The
It was
snow.
a good one.
Oh, okay. What did you have in the dock? I could look.
No, I don't know.
Oh. That makes sense.
Oh yeah. So the video says that they can make 3 times the energy that we use in the United States, or it can generate if it was on all the roads. But the problem with that is that it doesn't actually talk about how to store that energy.
Oh.
You know, there would have to be some sort of storage place, and then at night it would need to access that, because one thing we haven't mentioned is the LED lights.
Oh yeah. The roads light. In fact,
Which-
you could fast forward the video. They show it. You can just show it from the video. They'd have a pretty good graphic of it, like where we live, like in freaking Tron. And I think I like the idea of like for a parking lot, being able to sort of redraw the lines of a parking lot or make it a baseball field or whatever it would be, right? I think that's kind of a neat idea.
Real, because this is the real world.
Whoa.
But these panels are also pressure sensitive, so they can detect when large debris like branches or boulders have fallen onto the road, or if an animal is crossing. It can warn drivers with LED text to slow down for an obstruction. I'm very, environmentally conscious. Good, because solar roadways use
All right, so they have these LED lights. So like, I like the idea of like, hey, there's a moose on the road or whatever it is. Like, slow down ahead. But where are you gonna? You got something bad about the LED lights?
No, I was going to actually point out on, so that's one of the major things is people say, well, we're not going to be able to see LED lights in sunlight.
Well,
in direct sunlight.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. Yeah.
So I went to their frequently asked questions and they actually address it. And I'm not saying that I believe it per se.
But they have like angled lights or whatever?
No, they have tested it in bright sunlight and they do work. Let's see, will the LEDs even show up in direct sunlight?
What do they say?
Yes. For the prototype, though, we found that the LEDs we chose were not quite bright enough during the daytime.
Okay.
We don't anticipate any problems as there are LED stoplights and billboards everywhere that are very bright, even in direct sunlight.
That's true.
At night, our LEDs are almost too bright. We made them adjustable so that we turn them down at night. We can also turn them off entirely if no vehicles are on the road.
All right. Well, so I mean, like, take out the economics of this for right now, and let's just get in our time machine and go to the future here. I think for private property, this is a foregone conclusion. Because if I could be Walmart.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And they actually say in their frequently asked questions that the power generated is owned by whoever owns that piece of land.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if I'm Walmart, I can generate some of my own power, even if it's only 60% or 40% or 30%. If this LED thing actually is legit and based on the volume of traffic in my store, I could dynamically reset my parking lots to accommodate more or less people. Right. Of course I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to get more people in the door. That's going to keep lawsuits off my ass. I mean,
and special events. Okay, there's only going to be parking around the perimeter. The inside is for race cars. I mean, hello.
You know, every town has like, you know, we have like the Monroe Center where like there's sometimes a fair, sometimes there's races. Imagine like being able to dynamically regenerate the layouts of the floors and the parking lots based on the event that's going on. And somebody shows up with their device, so they sync up to the network and they lay out the parking lot like, boom, okay, you're good to go.
WeWizard brings up an interesting point. Angela, won't those LEDs be completely covered by road grime in a matter of weeks? It's possible.
I would wonder, yeah.
You know what? One of the things they talk about is job generation. And maybe there will be trucks that drive water washers down these roads all the time.
But somebody has to pay those people.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is like...
Okay, so, yeah.
This is the part that because you're talking about oil, you're talking about dirt, you're talking about crap falling off vehicles. You're going to have constantly... So if this glass does bust open, what it exposes underneath isn't more cement. It's solar panels, it's LED lights, it's electronics. And they claim, like, you know, well, one of the things we would do, too, is on the sides of the roads, we'd have conduits for the power cables to be laid down.
Yeah.
And so, and yes.
On one side and water drainage for the other.
That would be great.
It would be. It's brilliant.
But it's super, I mean, you'd have to take those power lines off the poles and put them down in there. And it's not just a matter of
money.
You don't just take wires and put them in the ground. It doesn't just work like that. And the other thing is glass does not absorb the water like the cement does. And yeah, you have a runoff conduit, but cement, it not only does the water sort of, based on the way the roads are designed, sort of wash off, but the cement itself can absorb some of that water. It can absorb some of those liquids. And you know, like here in the Pacific Northwest, like we'll get like a range of sunshine, and then boom, it just rains and rains and rains. And what happens is all of the oils that cars have been dripping as they've been driving down the road start just like coming up out of the rock, and it gets really slick. Imagine that on top of glass, though, Ange.
Yeah, well, you know, that's why electric cars would be great, because then there wouldn't be any oil dripping.
Ange just says, let's get to it, because we can do it. According to chat room, we can do it.
Yeah. McCabe says that South Korea already has a type of road marker that can wash the road. So, that's possible. Here's something that I hadn't thought about until I read the frequently asked question. Wouldn't animals be all over the road during the winter? Won't the warmth of the road attract them?
Yeah, totally. I could see that.
Right?
Yeah.
They say no, but they've only tested that on a small patch of, that they have made of their...
I think you would have animals like
sunbathing
or like curling up on the warm road.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then another thing that they mentioned, which is great, is and it's something that I had thought of too, and that is if people if there's these expensive electronics built in the solar panel into these panels, people are going to try to steal them.
Oh, totally.
You know, they claim that even if they're removed, they wirelessly talk to all the other ones. And so the people that try to steal them will be on World's Dumbest Criminals or whatever.
It's not, because you can't, that's not even technically possible.
Unless
each individual octagon has LTE built in, which is not going to happen because the cost of that, the LTE network alone wouldn't be able to handle that load. And then the cost to do that would be impossible. I mean, it's impossible for each cell to have its own data connection. The only way it could possibly work is through mesh networking, and then they have endpoints every so often where there's a connection. But if you move one of those nodes away from that mesh network, there's no connectivity. I mean, it's just impossible.
Interesting. Okay.
I
was wondering if
that's
you had...
in their fact. They say it like that.
Yeah.
No, that's impossible. No, I mean, unfortunately, we don't live in Star Trek where there's just subspace communications everywhere.
Yeah, these panels must be valuable. What's to keep people from stealing them for home use? Each panel has its own microprocessor, which communicates wirelessly with the surrounding panels. They monitor each other for malfunctions or problems. Even if someone were able to pull a panel out of the road and load it on a truck, the stolen panel would continue communicating with all the other panels in the road.
Now, how could
the
you do
road
that?
would know exactly where it was and how fast it was moving,
There
making
you
the
go.
criminal a sitting duck for law enforcement.
That's,
But
you hear
that
how they
is
phrase that? What they're saying is it has
if they're on the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It has connectivity as long as you're driving down the road. As soon as you
Yeah.
go off the road. And the other thing is that would cause a ton of radio noise. If you had all the roads around here generating radio signals, that's going to smash the wireless spectrum. First of all, and who knows? I mean,
Right.
and if they're not on a licensed spectrum, if they're using just a public spectrum like 2.4 gigahertz or something like that, well, we've just all lost our Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But if they're using something proprietary or something licensed, then yeah, as long as it's on the road. But as soon as you drove onto a road that wasn't glass-based, or you drove far enough away, like down a dirt road or whatever, like you brought it in your house or whatever, it would lose connection.
So another thing that had been brought up is, people have seen the texture of the road ones. They're kind of rough, and they're like, I wouldn't want to walk on that. What I read in their frequently asked question is they actually will have two different textures. They're going to have a walking texture and they're going to have a driving texture.
I'm all about the walking one. Like,
yeah, me too.
I can't really come up with bad reasons why you wouldn't want a sidewalk like this if you have the money and the means.
Yep, exactly.
Other than cost, I mean, it seems like a no-brainer.
Yep. So they keep adding to their Indiegogo. They keep adding
cool.
different things that you can win. Probably the coolest thing that they did was they had broken solar panel pieces or
Filaments or whatever.
Yeah, that they put inside a light bulb and made into a necklace. Yeah, but that sold out like a long time ago. So they have like name on their parking lot and stuff. They have the a prototype hexagon.
Oh, that
smaller
would be
one.
cool to have.
Yeah, they have
especially if it lit up.
Yeah, they have a 4-inch and a 7-inch. No, it wouldn't.
But look at the cost here. For
I
a
know.
7-inch hexagon, it's $10,000.
I know.
So you're getting an idea. I mean, these are early costs and not at bulk, but you're getting an idea of what the raw cost is.
Yep.
And I think this is one of those things that society gets all excited about that doesn't actually itself result in a direct product, or at least at scale, but it sets us down a path of thinking that results in a I often like to kind of like daydream about like, what are we going to look back at in 50 years and think was quaint? Like you look back at how computers used to fill an entire room and how quaint that is, and how they'd have operators just to manage the different parts. And that's, it's very funny to look back at now. And I've often wondered, like, okay, take 2014, give 50 years plus perspective. What are we going to have that having sidewalks that light up with LED signals and stuff like that? It seems so obvious to me.
Yeah. The other thing I've immediately thought of is, the road signs, the road closure signs, like
Yes.
road closed ahead.
Right.
I could totally see somebody hacking the system and reprogramming a road to be like, dude, you're going the wrong way.
You know what I would do?
Something like that.
I'd draw a big penis on the road.
So, that kind of bothers me. And yeah. So there's a lot of costs associated with this. There's one thing that I thought was really funny, and let me just see if I can.
Solar freaking maybe. I mean,
solar freaking maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, they have another website for like all the numbers related to stuff. But oh yeah.
okay.
Here we go. So this is
Lots
great.
of links in the show notes.
So the solar freaking roadways.
Yeah.
Indiegogo. Yeah. Okay. Is it $1.9 million?
1.9
After I think it's been like 40 days.
of original goal of 1 million.
Yeah, 40 days on it. And Reading Rainbow had reached 1 million in 12 hours.
Well, it's in a book.
And now it's at 3.5 million after only 7 days.
Okay, Andrew's Geek Challenge. What is his name?
LeVar Burton.
Oh, you got it.
Dude, I watched the Reading Rainbow.
What about Star Trek?
And
What was his Star Trek character name?
You know what else?
Okay.
Geordie.
Oh, look at you. What was his first name?
LaForge.
Wow. Wow, good job, sweetie.
Anyway, he was actually just in Psych the other day, which was cool that I watched. But anyway, so I think it's kind of funny. I mean, literacy is good, and so is power.
Across the board. You know what else is cool?
What?
Patreon.com. You know why Patreon.com is cool? Because we're helping fund a new generation of Jupiter Broadcasting shows, investing in the infrastructure of the Jupiter Broadcasting Network, and financing future projects that are just crazy and far out there. And we're trying to integrate it with content that we believe is appropriate, like the Unfiltered Show or How to Linux, shows that are absolutely crazy-ass ambitious that we have no freaking right to do, and shows we want to take our time on to get just right, that are now crowdfunded over at patreon.com/today to fund the Jupiter Broadcasting Network and our daily tech show /Linux to support the new, just launched it, How to Linux show, and /Unfilter to support the excellent Unfilter show. How about that, Andrews?
It's amazing.
It is really, really exciting. So where do you want to start? Let's show the, let's see where we're
Hold
at.
on, let me.
Oh, are you opening it right now?
I'm trying.
Look at you. Look at you being all like open it and stuff while I'm talking about it. and
Okay,
stuff.
there we go.
All right, should we start with the /Linux?
Sure.
There
Here
we
it is,
go.
my awesome logo.
Yes, you did good work on that. And we've got 35 patrons right now. And this show, one of the things that we want to maybe experiment with as we get some more funding. So we've got a bunch of weekly show ideas figured out. But eventually, we're going to get past the stuff that's really easy to do weekly. Because Chase, you know, he's going to eventually have his feet under him, and he's going to understand how to use Linux. Then we want to branch out into crazy ass projects, really build some cool stuff. That doesn't necessarily fit a weekly release cadence.
Mm-hmm.
And a weekly release cadence is what sponsors want to see. If we can get this Patreon funding to a certain level, we're going to take our time with some episodes. Maybe we'll miss an episode once every couple of weeks. Yeah, I'm telling you, if you help fund us, we're going to miss weeks. That's my commitment to you, because we want to make sure that when we do release an episode, it's totally kick-ass. And the idea is with the Patreon system, we can still actually give you guys a total S-ton of content throughout the weeks to our patrons exclusively, and then boom, we'll drop the public episode that's all polished with everything you need to know, all nice. But the only way to really do that is through a crowd-funded project. So that's why How to Linux is on Patreon, patreon.com/Linux. We've got crazy awesome ideas, and I'd love to get your guys' support. What do we got next, Andrews? What's up next? Oh, you want to show it? There you go. You can show it. There you go. Look at that. That's our first opening video right there. Beautiful shot of the downtown Seattle. Look at that. Such a great shot. And then, boom, there's Chase's face. All right, so what do we have next? Tech Talk Today at 140 patrons.
Yep.
Daily tech show from an open source Linux perspective. Monday through Thursday. Next week, for example, Chase will be joining me because it's E3 time. So Chase is going to come on and give us the gamer's perspective. The week after that, it's Google I.O. We'll be talking about that. All kinds of tech events that come up, but from the perspective of Linux users, from the perspective of the open source crowd. And the other thing about our specific Patreon for Tech Talk Today, unlike our other shows, this one's not only just keeping the show on the air, we've reached the milestone that keeps the show on the air, and it's ad-free. The Patreon's already made the show ad-free, which is
that's crazy.
Awesome. Awesome. Now what we're doing is we're funding infrastructure costs of Jupiter Broadcasting through this. So this is where we go and we take all of the proceeds from this and we invest it in Jupiter Broadcasting. We work on stuff. And as we go along the way, the show benefits from that. So we've got challenges and milestones that as we reach them, we'll have fun events that happen in the show. But on the back end, we're making serious infrastructure investments and future projects investments for Jupiter Broadcasting. So it's a cool way to publicly see some results, but also help us work on our back end stuff to make things tighter, better, improved, upgrade, etc. It's all outlined at patreon.com/today. And last but not least, patreon.com/unfilter. Unfilter is like no other show on the internet. It is literally documenting the times in which we live. It is the news you need to know about. Go watch your Psych. Go watch your sports. Go watch your Simpsons, and then come to Unfilter and get caught up on all the actual news that actually matters and skip all of the propaganda. That's what Unfilter delivers, and that's why we've had people jump in over to Unfilter, patreon.com/Unfilter. You guys are rocking it, and Angela's prepping some swag for our 33 members.
Well, and for the
Tech Talk Today.
Tech Talk Today people.
Yep.
In fact, there's 16 patrons now of the 48, and when I ordered the swag, there were 3. and I ordered 10 of that swag, And now there's 16, and so now I've got to like I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I told people like get in over the weekend because we're gonna lock it in on Monday.
Yeah, well, so I want to see the product before I order more because
Yeah.
it was really just a test, and we'll
It's
see how that
something
goes.
we've never done before. It's not a shirt.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
but speaking of shirts, we do have a limited Unfilter 100 shirt over at teespring.com/ guess what? Unfilter 100.
I know, nobody figured that out ahead of time.
This is limited time. So what we're doing from time to time, if you're a longtime viewer, you know that we've sort of had, we're changing the way we do our funding. We don't want to overdo the ads. And we've lost our Amazon affiliate. So we're doing, from time to time, we're going to do swag that's available to the general Jupiter Broadcasting audience. This is a way to support the Unfilter show and get yourself something. So if you go to Patreon, Teespring,
Wow.
Jupiter, which one is it? I'm kidding. It's teespring.com/unfilter100. And grab the shirt. We have a shirt, we have a hoodie, we have a tee, and they're really awesome.
Yep.
There's a lot of URLs. I know I just downloaded like a trillion URLs to your face, but we have links in the show notes.
Yep. And I am the master merchandiser.
Yeah, Ange is the swag hag for sure. She's rocking it.
Swag hag, yeah.
Yeah, it's not my nickname.
Exactly.
You came up with it. No. Don't
It
put
is,
that on
it
me.
is.
Do we have
No,
a
no.
sack? Are we gonna?
No.
That was a big sack. That was
Yeah,
essentially
that was
a
kind
sack
of like,
right there.
yeah, pretty much.
Sorry for the sack in your face, everybody. But we just
Mm-hmm.
got June is a crazy month for Jupiter Broadcasting. I don't know if we've ever had this much stuff going on, and a big part of it is because now we're moved into our new studio,
Mm-hmm.
and we've made this investment, and now it's time to just get down and get some work done, get some content out there for you guys, and do it in a new way that's refreshing, that keeps things edgy, and also helps us sort of prepare for even future bigger projects.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited about what we have coming up, including Tech Talk Today and How To Links and a lot of other things too.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget, you can always participate live.
Yep.
Over at jblive.tv. Join the faux show after Linux Action Show. It all kicks off around 10 a.m. Pacific, right, Andrews?
Yes.
And how can they get a hold of us?
They can go to the contact form,
Which is at?
jupiterbroadcasting.com/contact.
Or they could email Angela at jupiterbroadcasting.com. She's also on Twitter
Mm-hmm. Andrews.
and on Instagram
At Andrews. At Mom Vault.
for your personal. And Jupiter
At
Broadcasting.
Jupiter Broadcasting for Jupiter Broadcasting. I do the socials.
There's some good stuff on that Instagram feed.
I know.
Especially on the Mom Vault one, because our children are adorable. But the Jupiter Broadcasting one has some really good stuff too. I mean,
Yeah.
there's,
Oh, send in your Coda Radio shirts, please.
yeah, don't we have, don't we have like that coming up? Like, isn't that a thing?
What?
The
That
July
what?
6th? Don't you want to mention the July 6th awards?
Yes. Yes. That's not Coda Radio shirts.
No, I
though.
know. But we
Oh,
do. We
okay.
should mention the July 6th awards before we run. Oh, there's your Mom Vault page.
Yep. Look at this. There we go.
That's
Maybe.
That's my beautiful daughter.
Isn't
Okay.
she adorable?
She's very adorable. That's my daughter, and she's very cute. And that's my boy, and that's my other daughter. She's also very, very adorable. And there's my kids, not so sure about that horse. But the end result was they liked the horse.
Yep.
So. All right.
All right, so July 6th
Yep.
awards. Let us know what you're working on this summer or winter for those down under. Send in your picture, link, and an explanation to Angela at jupiterbroadcasting.com. If you're launching a company or a podcast, which seems to be common, or if you're working on a car
or just taking care of your backyard.
or knitting, or before and after pictures of your backyard would be cool.
Seriously. I mean,
Yeah.
we just want to see your project, and we'll do a award show on there. If you got
Yeah.
a podcast and you're going to compete with me, I'm going to drive to where you live, and I'm going to get in a kick fight, and I'm going to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Not really.
No.
No, we'll give you a good plug, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's what it is. So
All right, Angus. There you go.
Yep, that's it for this episode of the Faux Show. Remember, if you want to learn more about Solar Roadways and watch the whole Solar freaking Roadways,
It's a good video.
get the links. It is.
And
I've
then
watched
there's
a lot.
there's the skeptic video version too.
yes,
in the
it's
show notes.
the link is that is linked in the show notes as well. And I would recommend watching both before you contribute, just to
know what you're
Yeah.
donating towards.
yeah.
I
So
agree.
that's it. We'll see you next week. Did you enjoy this Faux Show? Well, guess what? You can catch more at jupiterbroadcasting.com and subscribe to the weekly RSS feed.
This is Unfiltered. Episode 4
Episode 4.
for June 8th, 2014. Are we gonna get chickens?
No.
Oh God, that'd be well, not really.
No.
We should get chickens
Yeah, you can get chickens.
right
and
here
take care
at
of
the,
them.
at the studio.
Yeah.
I should put them right out there. And then
I
when
don't
I'm-
think you can.
And then when I'm doing a show, well, I don't know. If it was like 2 chickens, I think I could do it. I think I'd be better at ducks because then they could eat slugs for us, and we could still eat the eggs. I think I could do ducks. I don't know about chickens. I've done chickens, so I've had chickens. Okay.
Tab complete. Oh, no, 50-fold Chris is here.
No.
Yeah, I take a spoonful of honey a day for allergies. What's up, Beck? He's my future husband.
Hey. Oh, that's right.
He was gonna be at Linux Fest, but he wasn't.
Oh, too bad for you, right?
It was gonna be it was gonna be so cool to meet my future husband.
You almost said romantic. I heard you say it.
Romantic. Yeah, it was gonna be so romantic. That is.
Let's
hilarious.
sneak out at Linux Fest and go get pizza and drink Mountain Dew together.
Oh, Q5 said, Angela, you did meet your future husband.
Oh, jeez, I got. You know, if I ever die, you're taken care of. That's for sure.